there are obviously so many distractions. I think I know at least at one point I had a friend group, and it was really rad. It just felt like we were all, just pursuing Jesus together, and I had, friends on the worship team, and we had, small groups and all these things, and it was like really going great. And then it kind of all just at one point, it just seems like everything just fell apart. And I think one thing that I feel like was the cause of that was everybody just started focusing more on friendships and what each other were thinking about. And so instead of like taking their eyes off of themselves and the people around them and putting them on Jesus, it was like, God was there, and you were obviously going to church because it was a church friend group, but it was just like everybody then just kind of started worrying about like what this person thought, and then there was just like gossip and all these things. And so it was like, once everyone started trying to hold on to those friendships to make sure they lasted and clinging on to all these things to like almost just a little bit more of that control and worrying, and it was just like, then that kind of was just like, sorry, God, like this is a little bit more important. So, and it's so interesting. This is going a little bit off track, but one thing that I felt like the Lord showed me in that moment was just like, it's so interesting how I feel like, at least for me, like you would think that if you focused on friendships more, or if you focused on your job more, or the things that of course are important in your life, then you'd flourish more in that. But oddly enough, that when you focus on God and only on your relationship with the Lord and in pursuit of that, everything else just naturally seems to fall into place. And so I feel like what he showed me, there's this bone in your spine at the top, I want to say your C1. And so it's this really interesting bone that if like it's a little bit off, your whole body, it's like whole chiropractic thing, but then it's like this is off and this is not, and it just affects so many other different areas. And then as soon as you just adjust that like slight thing, everything just seems to kind of just shift into that. And so I really feel like, to give you that image of that so many times when it's like there are those little things that you think like we should just adjust this and this maybe, and then it's just like, but honestly it's really just that slight that C1 adjustment, that just focus on the Lord, that really just causes everything else, your relationships, your job, or just every little thing you do, the things that you love, whether it's just your passions, it just shifts into place. And that's the same thing with like Peter on the waves. Like you'd think, looking around you, there's a whole storm, like you would want to know your surroundings if you're walking on this water, but that's when he started to sink. And so it's really so important that through the midst of so many things going on, to really just like laser focus your gaze on God and what he has for you and what he has spoken over you, and to just hold on to that. So that's a little bit off on a little rabbit trail, but that's like my encouragement for you.